gonna be fun every single time. Hey people, it's Lupita. This is my land. Welcome back to another video. So, hey, hi, hello. As you can tell from the title of this video, we're about to go down into the creepy world. We're pretending it's fall, even though it's about to be summer. I've actually done this video before. I'm about to private it once this one goes up because I was very, very quiet. I was whispering. It was downright ASMR. Probably because I did it at 2 a.m. And today, ironically doing it at 3 a.m. Haunting hour. Nice. And then it's kind of creepy because I closed my window, so now it's super, super quiet in my room. Yay. I was like listening to the wind and the like wind chimes, which I guess would be creepy, but it's kind of like white noise to me. Hope you guys get into the mood. There will not be jump scares. I promise you that. I'm not that kind of person. I detest jump scares. I like creepy and scary occasionally. But jump scares are kind of dumb unless they're done right, I suppose. I don't know how you do them right, but yeah. Let's get right into it. But before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, become one of my besties, a Lupita Lander. Get your passport to my land. Hey, hi, hello, I'm Lupita. Yeah, okay, let's get into this. Okay, so this first story takes place so many years ago. I was around 5 or 6. I've had this room my whole entire life, been here my whole life. I've never had, or I haven't always had, the best night lights. Now I have like these huge star like fairy lights and they light up my room enough, and also I'm kind of grown so I'm less scared of the dark. I'm so scared of the dark. But obviously at 5, 6-ish I was terrified. I always made up like little like scary things in my head, and my sweaters ended up looking like men, and I have such a bad habit of that. And I told one of my best friends, actually, I was like, yeah, I see like skulls, like how do you sleep in the dark? And she's like, well, I don't know if I will now. I'm like, yeah, sorry about that. I definitely like made shapes in my head and it was bad. I was so terrified. So basically what I'm trying to say is this was one of those nights. I was in my room and I was just lying there looking at the ceiling and the darkness, and I remember to me like the darkness would look like gray little fuzzies, like TV static. I don't know why. And I would see skulls, obviously. Well, I would make them up in my head or on the ceiling, and I remember just, it would always enclose on me. Like I couldn't, like at one point I knew I was gonna get the bravery, knock on my parents' door and sneak right in. I was literally getting that bravery. My house is really, really tiny. There's a hallway, there's my room, and right across it is my parents' room, my room, my parents' room, and then a hallway to the living room and the main area, and then that's it. That's my house. So that hallway is really, really creepy because it's really, really dark, and it leads to the open darkness of the living room / dining room. So yeah, imagine having to brace yourself for that as a little kid. And by the way, no, we do not have a hallway light. We would always just use the bathroom light, which is right next to my parents' room, right across from my room. So yeah, and of course I was 6, so like turning that on, and it's a whole thing. So I remember just sitting there, and I took forever to get the courage, and I remember it getting super late. And then at one point I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And I remember walking out into the hallway and just like standing there, you know, feeling so, you know, vulnerable as a kid, and then just knocking on the door and waiting. And like, you know, and then finally, like, I remember how comforting it would feel to like hear their footsteps coming towards the door. And Dad comes in and he says kind of like, you know, he gets scared, and he like goes like this, and he was like, oh, you're a witch, or that's what I heard, right? And I was like, oh, and I'm like laughing, I'm like, I'm not a witch, you know, like, oh, my dad's just joking or playing around. I remember my mom being like, no, it's Lupita, and I'm like, why do you have to explain? That's my dad, he knows who I am, I'm his daughter, you know? And then that was that on that. Until years later, when I heard the rest of this story on that night. Okay, so technically, I don't know if it's the same thing, but I'm pretty sure it is, because two things kind of coincide to make it feel like it was the exact same day that this happened, and I'll explain. On one very, very horrible night, my parents were asleep in their room. This is the ghost part, mind you. And they were sound asleep. My dad's lying there, and this is the way they always say it. He was lying in bed, just like he would, and all of a sudden, he feels pulling at his feet. He feels like something's pulling at his feet and a weight. So he looks up, and there's a little girl with long hair that's dark, and she's small, and she's pulling at his feet. He's terrified. So he screams, "La niña, la niña, la niña." The girl, the girl, the girl. My mom's like, what are you talking about? She's shaking him, like, what's wrong, you know? And so she's like, what? And obviously this was years ago, so she was younger. She always says this when she tells the story, and she's like, the light was on his side, so I hop over him, turn on the light. I'm like, what's wrong? What? And he was literally just staring at the end, just pointing at the end of the bed, like, La niña, la niña, la niña. And my mom says that he had such a fright, such a look on his face, that it was like, it was something out of this world that he was looking at. Like, he was that terrified. I don't like that he was that terrified. So, you know, it takes her a while to calm him down. He's like, you know, and of course, I think the apparition at one point disappears because he gets to calm down. He's like, you're fine, it's gone. I don't know what else they would have said. I wasn't there. But they tell me that they had calmed down and they go to bed. And the only reason I know the rest of the story is because they tell it a lot. They used to a lot more when I was a kid, and then they stopped, and then they started telling it again when I reminded them about it. I remember being at my cousin's house. They had kind of the same situation, except their house was huge, right? So they had their living area, and I remember they had an actually long hallway. Like, mine is really, really small, but it feels long when you're a kid. But there's a really long, dark hallway, so they do have lights everywhere. And I remember being in their house, and they were telling the story, and I was just like, when it all clicked for me. And then I was so terrified to go down that dark hallway, even with lights, because, you know, they had doors to rooms, and I think rooms would be open and dark inside. And as a child, even though I think I was like an early teen or like, you know, 10 or something, the idea of that was so terrifying, like going down that. But anyways, so then the next part, they settle down to go to bed. They go to sleep. And then they hear a knock on the door. And guess what it is? It's little old me. So I'm pretty sure it ended up being that my mom had actually opened the door, and I guess I didn't realize that. And then my dad had gone with her. Maybe he was on high alert because of what he'd seen, and he goes and sees me, and maybe he didn't say which, or maybe he did. Maybe he thought that's what the little girl was. And when he went like this, he actually went to hit me. And that's when mom was just like, no, it's Lupita. So it wasn't a joke. Like, my dad literally was that afraid. And then he thought he was going to defend himself against a ghost, when in reality it was just me, his daughter, as a little young one. So yeah, every time I think about that, it always gave me chills, especially as a kid, because I was like, I felt scared around the exact same moment, the exact night that my father saw like an apparition in the house. So that's kind of like an ongoing joke that we have, which is kind of funny, but it's always been so creepy to me to think, yeah, that day when I was making figures in my mind, being scared in my room, didn't want it to be with my parents, I was actually going towards the scary stuff, but I was scared, maybe for a reason. Maybe I felt something in the air, I don't know. So in addition to that, with that room, once I started getting older, I would get more and more scared of it. Like, I hated being alone in the dark in there. And even now, that room to me is always cold. There's always a logical explanation, I think. The sun doesn't really hit it, so I'm like, that's what it is, right? But there's just a lot of things that don't add up to me personally. Mostly, like, how is it that cold? Like, the kitchen isn't that cold, the dining room isn't that cold. They're all in the same side of the house, which is this side. So it's like, you know, like, what's going on? Why is only that little corner so freaking cold? You know, which my parents keep wanting me to move into my brother's old room, which is back there, and I feel like maybe I don't want to, because then I would have to share a wall with that room, and maybe that's why. Like, I've been in my brother's room and try to sleep in there, and I can't either, and maybe that's why. But yeah, so basically I can sleep there in the day, no problem. If there's sunlight coming through, I'm good. If there's someone with me, I'm good. I feel so comfortable. I'm knocked out. But what has happened to me in that room is I'll be dead and asleep, REM sleep, and I'll feel my parents go. Sometimes I don't feel that they leave me, and as soon as the sun sets and I feel the light go, I wake up. I'm up and I walk out. I'm like, nope. Like, I feel either a presence, something watching me, something. It just doesn't feel right. I don't feel safe. I don't like it. My mind just wakes up. I don't know if it's also like maybe a logical thing where it's just like, Lupita, you know there's been a ghost there. Get out of there at night. You know, like, everybody says like nighttime is ghost time or whatever it is. Maybe that's what my mind, the back of my subconscious, has added up to. So it could be me. But it just doesn't feel that way, because sometimes I swear I'll be dead tired and I'll leave. And I remember one time where I thought I sleepwalked, because I literally had slept in my parents' room and like was suddenly in my room, and I was like, how? I always end up back in my room. Sometimes I don't even notice that I did it. So it's like, if my parents are there through the night, I am fine. Like, I'm not perfectly fine. I still feel kind of iffy. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I feel iffy about it. Look at my girl. But yeah, I feel iffy about it. I don't like it. But it's better than being alone. And also, my parents are regular adults that like to sleep in the dark. So that makes it harder for me. Another thing that happened there. Yes, a lot of things happen in there that's weird. One little tidbit is, a lot of our stuff gets lost in our house. We'll look for it, we'll know where we put it, and then it's not there and it appears somewhere else when we don't need it, or months later. Low-key, I feel like it's just a Latino/Mexican thing. We're kind of hoarders. We don't know where we put things. We lose them. So, yeah, no. But sometimes it really does feel like there's something else that's messing with us and having fun, you know? So, yeah. I think it was sophomore year. We had a puppy named Tiger. He was the cutest. Tiger was my mom's dog. That was her dog. He was her son. They were like this. It was so cute. And around this time, my dad was a truck driver, so he would sleep during the day, and my mom and I would just hang out, or sometimes we would nap with him, whatever. So I was like, what, 16, 17 in high school, and point we realized, we haven't seen Tiger in a minute. Where is he? So we literally go shouting everywhere, Tiger, 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 throughout the whole house. And we can't find him. And I'm like so anxious because it's a new puppy. Like, he grew up quite a lot. Like, he wasn't like tiny, you know, he was big. So I was like, did he escape? Did he try to go see a girlfriend or something? Like, what's going on? And we said it incessantly, and my mom did too. And we would walk into that room, my parents' room, and like say his name, because maybe he curled up with my dad, you know. And my mom would do it, and he would listen to my mom. That's his mama, you know. So it's like, what's going on here? It took a while, but at one point I opened the door, and he hops out of my parents' closet. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I felt so like flabbergasted and kind of like scared when I saw that. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, that dog loves my mom. What dog's gonna ignore their parents so much and just nap? Like, I get that happening, but in a closet, like, he never did that. Never did that. So I was just like, what the hell just happened? So me and my mom always say, like, I think the girl, la niña, wanted to play with him. Like, she took him for a while because there's just no way. I literally got goosebumps. I don't like it. But yeah, I was just like, there's no way. There is no way. Like, how? How does that happen? How? I don't understand. Yeah, that was like it for that part. Another story that also has to do with this house. That's why I always say this house is haunted. So, I was watching, I think it was my sister's Keeper or Secret Keeper, I don't know what it was, but it was like this little girl and cancer movie, and I don't know, I was almost done watching it one night, and I was pretty young, probably in high school, so it was right when I had gotten blue. I think that's it right there. Yeah, sorry, I can't see, I'm blind. I had just gotten blue not too long ago, and I was watching it on my laptop, and it was almost the end. So I was just, you know, chilling, and all of a sudden, this dog hops off my bed and just starts crying like crazy. And I keep trying to get him, put him back in bed with me and console him, but he just won't stop crying, and he like runs to the corner of my room, and he looks terrified. And I hated it. It gave me so many goosebumps. Like, I ended up opening my door, and he like ran into my parents' room to be with them because they were there. And I'm just like, what the heck? Like, he doesn't want to be with me. And I was so spooked, because you know how they say dogs can see things. So I was so scared. I even rewinded to that part that I was watching, because I was like, maybe it was some of the machines in the movie, some frequency, and scared him or something. And I made it again near him, and nothing. And I was just like, that never happened again with my dog, by the way. Never. Like, look at him. He's so fine. He's happy. He always loves chilling with me in this room. So it's just like, what happened? I'm so confused. Like, I don't get it, you know? That just made me feel like somebody decided to travel from my parents' room and give me a visit, because my dog did not like it. It really spooked me. And in that same grain, literally a few days ago, like, I was in my room, I don't know if it was the afternoon or night, but I think I was making a Snapchat or talking to myself, I don't know, but I remember like hearing something, and it literally sounded like it was thrown behind me, but I never saw anything get thrown or saw anything that was thrown, but it literally felt and sounded like someone and like, you know, something falling. And it is literally by my own faith and my Heavenly Father that I stayed calm and didn't have any fear. Thank God I believe in Him, because I would be dead with fear, you know, otherwise. Oh my God. I'm like kind of scared right now because it's so late, but like, I know He's got me and I'm good, but oh my God, yeah, that was creepy. I think it was probably in the day, because if it was really late, it probably would have been scarier, but I don't know, I'm really strong in my faith. Okay, this is my mom's story. Apparently it's fake, but I feel like she just told me and my brother that. My brother was older, like way older, he's 12 years older than me, but I feel like she just said that it was fake to make us feel better. So, yeah. One day we were watching a really, one of those creepy shows that, like, you know, tell about a family that was haunted. Like, our hauntings, I'm gonna say like that because I feel like people who have truly been crazy haunted really feel that ish, you know? For me, it's always been very subtle. Again, I feel like maybe God blinds me from them. But we were watching like those TV shows that talk about people that have been super haunted, and I was so creeped out. I did not want to leave the living room to like go to the hallway to go to my room. And I remember my mom was there, and she was just like, "Yo, what are you guys doing?" Like, she had such an incredulous face. Like, my mom, she'll get scared, but she's also like, you know, whatever, you know? She's so tough that way. So, she saw a part where the family said they heard like a ball bouncing. And I don't know, she did have kind of a snicker. So I feel like maybe she was just messing with us you know? Which feels weird to me though, because like she knows me. Like, yeah, I like creepy stuff, but my whole life I've always been a scaredy cat. I'm scared of everything and everything. If anybody scared me, I was crying. So it's just like, I don't think she would have just said it to say it, you know? And yeah, I was entertained by the scary stuff, but like, that's somebody else's house, not mine. But my mother goes on to say, she's like, yeah, like sometimes I'll be in the room and I'll hear a ball bouncing in the bathroom where we shower. That ruined me for so long. And she like lied and said it wasn't. I was like, Mom, I need to pee and now I can't go. Like, we have another bathroom, but then that's the bathroom in their room. Like, I don't want to deal with any of it at that point. And I was just like, oh my god. And I remember I was like crying and I was so sad because I was like chilling in her room with her. Like, I ended up getting the courage to go. She was like, hurry up, go to bed. Like, you guys can't stay there, go to bed. And I remember like chilling in her room being so terrified. And I think my dad showered, and unfortunately the freaking like toilet roll dispenser kind of made noises that sounded like balls bouncing. And I was just like, and she was like, Lupita, no, that's just the toilet thing, like toilet paper roll dispenser thing, like calm down, I was just kidding, it's not a real story. I don't know if I believe her. I haven't heard shit, but I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Like, if I need to pee at any point today, I don't care. Like, I have a cup, I'll make do. Yeah, that ruined my life. Okay, so now kind of a little cheesy story. Me and my friends, my house was empty. I mean, my friend were just chilling in, I think, the living room. We had just come back from somewhere, probably from eating McDonald's or going to a movies. But we were trying to leave, and I kept getting spooked because I kept feeling like I was hearing, you know, my music. I always keep Bella's Lullaby playing almost 24/7 because I usually forget to turn it off, and I have to sleep with it. Because, like, I'll be tossing and turning, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot to turn it on, you know? I remember feeling like, oh my god. Like, it would be on, and then it would be off, and then it would be on, and I was freaking out. And me and Emily couldn't get the courage. I tried to like see through the window, and I was just like, no, it's so scary, because I also keep my like iPod like lamp on by the screen, so my room was like illuminated with blue light, so it was still creepier. I remember we were just so scared. I was like, I can't do it, Mom, I'm gonna leave the window open, I'm sorry, I can't, I don't even want to get near it. So me and her left, because I don't know, we were gonna leave again, probably we hadn't gone to eat, I don't know, so we left. I'm pretty sure we went to get something. Later, my mom tells me, like, nah, it was just your music. Your music was just really low. The window was open. I closed it. Nothing was an issue. And I actually believe her this time, because I halfway felt that. I really, really felt like everything was fine, but me and my friend Emily were being like huge chickens. So yeah, it was just my music. And even now I notice there's a lot of times where I'm like, is it on or off? And it's on. It's just at the low parts of Bella Lullaby, and then it picks up and then it gets low again. So yeah, that one was a fake ghost. It was just a man-made mental ghost, which nobody likes. I'm going to tell my grandfather's story. I never actually met him. He passed before me and my middle brother were even born. But this is the story, okay? It was around dusk. No, probably dawn. I never know. But it was either dusk or dawn. And he was herding sheep. And my grandfather was there. And he's like my skin tone. He's really, really dark. And he was there, you know, doing his job. And he hears someone call him uncle. So they're like, Theo. And he just stops abruptly. And he freezes. He goes cold. He slowly turns around and he sees my cousin, who's 15. And he's just staring at him, ghostly pale and frozen. And my cousin tells him, Theo, please tell my mom to pay you for the ball. My grandfather says to him, oh, son, I forgive them all. You don't have to pay me. He heads back home and he sees my grandmother, who says he was pale as a ghost. And my grandfather was a storyteller, so it was usually hard to believe anything he said, but it was right in his face that day, just like my dad. My grandma said he was pale as a ghost, just frozen. And she literally had the thought like, oh my god, he's as pale as a ghost, what's going on? Looks like he saw a ghost. And he tells the story that he had seen my 50-year-old cousin who had died a while ago from a car accident. He was in a truck and his hat flew off and he had reached out to grab it, but he fell off the truck and hit his head and passed away. So that was him trying to clear his debts. I think in Catholicism that's something we believe / with God, that you have to pay for everything, even if it's like something small. So that's why it's kind of wild. So yeah, basically he saw my cousin's ghost, and a lot of people say that they see that like either their loved ones telling them like, hey, can you pay for this or that, you know, because they have depths apparently, so that they can get into heaven. That's what they say. So yeah, that's my grandfather's story. That one was super creepy to me, and I've always felt bad for my grandfather because it's probably crazy to hear a voice that you know you can't hear anymore because it's not living. I'm going to tell some things that happened in high school, just two, and I'm going to tell the more simple one first. So this was actually the principal / my advisor. I had like a group advisory. So she told this story once. I paid half attention. I don't know why. Probably dozing off again. Again, I was very depressed in high school, so that's why. So yeah, I wasn't really focusing, and I don't think she was talking to the whole group. Everybody was having their little conversations, and I piped up at the end. And she said that every time she came into work, which work was school. So our school was connected to a church, and our school was also not ours. It was in our building. It had previously been shared with another school in Oakland, and now it's in a place in my town. And which is so rude because now they're so close. But anyways, yeah, so the point was like that school was hopping around because they didn't have their own building until now. So that building was a borrowed school. I don't know where that school went. I don't know what they did. But for a couple years, my school was there. There was stuff going on in there that wasn't part of our school. It was part of the building. So basically she said she'd come into work and she had started to lock herself in her office downstairs and have 911 on speed dial because she would get there really early, and she said she would hear so many banging and noises from upstairs in the kitchen. So basically from where her office was at, the kitchen was like upstairs and all the way at the far end. So she was here and she was over there. So to hear all that from where she was, crazy. Like imagine how loud that had to be, and then that early, and when it's still dark, I don't know, in the fall, like that's so scary. And that she had to do that. So yeah, she said she had 911 on speed dial because she didn't know what was out there. And she would do that every day. Another time I was in Spanish class, and this one was kind of more funny to me. I don't know why. I wasn't scared at all, probably because I was with a group of people and it was daylight. But I remember being in Spanish class and we were just all focusing on the boards. Nobody was near the computers. We weren't allowed to sit there because, you know, then you could browse or whatever. All of a sudden, I hear someone kind of scream. And I look at them and look to where they're looking. And they're looking at the computers. Can anybody guess why? Word had opened up. And mind you, I did say this was Spanish class, right? It went all caps. And in Word it said, ¿Cómo estás? Mal? ¿Por qué? I don't even think it said mal, but we all screamed, and then it said "por qué?" and it was just a bunch of question marks. And we were so terrified. And nobody was near the computers. And I remember it just stopping. And then I remember the teacher just so nonchalant. Like, it just stopped, and I think someone probably clicked everything off. I was so terrified. Like, yeah, we were laughing, but like deep down I was just like, what the fuck? And like what it said, like, ¿cómo estás? And ¿por qué? Like, after we screamed, because it was like they heard or they knew. I remember thinking really logically though at this point. Other people were super scared. Other people didn't seem to care. The professor didn't seem to care at all. He was just like, stop paying attention to that. Pay attention to me. I'm like, haunting? What? What happened in my mind logically was, I don't know, I feel like maybe when the upperclassmen were playing a prank on us, because it is technology that can be controlled by people. So sometimes I feel like maybe a program was going on or somebody was controlling it from somewhere else. I don't know. So that was always one of my theories, and that's why I always think it was kind of the more playful hauntings, but I don't know. In that school there was a plaque of someone that had passed. So think of that, like a teen student ghost. They would want to mess with us. Like, what else could they do? But yeah, that's basically it for this video. Those are my stories. How creepy is that? I'm so thoroughly creeped out. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sleep. Wow, it is literally 4 a.m. I knew I would stay up this late. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment down below, tell me which one was your creepiest story and which one creeped you out from me. Don't forget to subscribe, become one of my besties. Hey Lupita Lander, you know you want your passport. And yeah, I love you guys. I'm Lupita. This is my land. Welcome to Lupita Land.